Soon Asia Vieira, tired from many worries and experiences, settled down on Anton Skovorodnikov's right arm and closed her eyes. Her body, like a magnet, was drawn to him, and she hugged him tightly, as if she was afraid to lose this feeling of peace and security. A light sigh, penetrating her fatigue, was the last confirmation of how much she valued this moment. The soft warm shroud of the blanket, covering them both, only increased the feeling of comfort. With each exhalation, Anton felt how the tension and fatigue of the day left her body. Asia's breathing became even and calm, and her face gradually relaxed, acquiring a peaceful expression. He could feel her body relaxing under his touch. Her arms, tightly hugging him, lost tension, and he felt all her worries, experiences and concerns dissolving in this moment of peace. Anton carefully watched as the light of the night lamp softly illuminated Asia's face, creating an atmosphere of warm comfort and sincere tenderness around her. The golden light of the night lamp embraced her, emphasizing every feature of her face, making it especially peaceful and calm. The moonlight, breaking through the translucent curtains of the window, added romance to the scene, playing on Asia's long hair, which softly scattered across the pillow. In this soft light, her hair looked even silkier, and her face radiated peace and happiness. Anton felt her warmth penetrating him, and this feeling filled his heart with joy and peace. The night enveloped them in its calm, and in this silence Anton couldn't help but feel how everything he had experienced now made sense. All the difficulties he had overcome, all the doubts and fears, seemed insignificant compared to this moment. Pictures from the past flashed through his mind, when everything was just beginning, a gloomy autumn day when he, sitting in his modest room, decided to distract himself from depression and watched a horror movie. He accidentally chose Omen IV, The Awakening, and this choice changed his life dramatically. At the beginning of watching, he didn't even know what it would mean for him, but when he saw little Asia Vieira on the screen, her enchanting look and innocent smile pierced his heart. It was like a magical lightning strike that changed everything. He remembered how long he tried to understand what exactly attracted him to Asia when he saw her in the movie, and how this feeling gradually became a real passion. He recalled how he had decided to earn money to get closer to his dream. Every day, from early morning until late evening, he worked tirelessly, hoping to save enough money for a trip that seemed almost unattainable to him. His efforts were focused on one single goal, to see her in real life despite all the obstacles and doubts. Then his memory flashed back to the difficulties he had faced in obtaining a visa. He remembered how he had spent whole days in the consulate, experiencing each refusal and delay that seemed endless to him. Each time he had to face new formalities and requirements, he felt his patience being tested. But despite all the obstacles, his desire to see Asia remained unshakable. He continued to fight, knowing that each obstacle was just a step towards his dream. His memories also revived the moments when he had to come into conflict with Jorge Montesi and Ryan Donahue. These tests were much more difficult than he initially expected. Each conflict and struggle seemed like a real test of his strength and determination, but by overcoming them, he proved to himself and those around him that his feelings were sincere. He was ready to fight for his happiness, despite all the obstacles that stood in front of him. Now that Asia was sleeping next to him, Anton felt that all these efforts, difficulties and trials were not in vain. He felt that every step along the way was meaningful and important. Every trial he went through strengthened their bond and made it stronger. A deep sense of gratitude and happiness reigned in his heart, and he knew that their story was not just a dream, but a reality that they were able to create together. The silence of the night and the peace that enveloped them were a reward for all the difficulties and trials they had gone through. Anton felt that his dreams had come true, and that they were now ready for a new stage of their life together, full of joy and love. Anton gently touched Asia's head, gently adjusting her hair so that it would not disturb her sleep. At that moment, he exhaled with a deep sense of satisfaction. Everything he had experienced seemed to be erased in the majestic simplicity of this night's peace. There was one simple truth in his thoughts: all of this was for her sake, for their future together, which now felt so close and real. As if his whole life had been just preparation for this moment. In the silence of the night, to the sounds of Asia's even breathing, Anton's heart was filled with deep happiness. All the trials he had gone through, every obstacle he had overcome now seemed like stages on the way to this perfect moment. Lying next to his beloved, he realized that his achievement, which could be called the conquest of Asia, had become much more than just a romantic adventure. It was not just overcoming difficulties, but a desire for a sincere union of two hearts. All the obstacles and difficulties that had previously seemed insurmountable now acquired a new meaning. His deep sense of satisfaction and love filled the world around him with warmth and light. When he was next to Asia, nothing seemed impossible. And when in the future the world sees their child, who will bear the double surname Vieira Skovorodnikov, all the hardships he had to endure will be perceived as necessary stages on the way to meeting the most beautiful woman in the universe, Asia Vieira. In the silence of the night, to the sounds of Asia's even breathing, Anton's heart was filled with deep happiness. All the trials he had gone through, every obstacle he had overcome now seemed like stages on the way to this perfect moment. Lying next to his beloved, he realized that his achievement, which could be called the conquest of Asia, had become much more than just a romantic adventure. It was not just overcoming difficulties, but a desire for a sincere union of two hearts. All the obstacles and difficulties that had previously seemed insurmountable now acquired a new meaning. His deep sense of satisfaction and love filled the world around him with warmth and light. When he was next to Asia, nothing seemed impossible. And when in the future the world sees their child, who will bear the double surname Vieira Skovorodnikov, all the hardships he had to endure will be perceived as necessary stages on the way to meeting the most beautiful woman in the universe, Asia Vieira.
Dear